A game so big, it was built to decide who would walk out Premier League champions to be. So in the wake of what seemed like a slaughtering at the Etihad, you're going to see my moment-by-moment reaction, the tactical analysis, and just the overall feeling of where that leaves us heading into the final stages of the season. It's like match of the day, but with less grey hairs, a lot less Premier League appearances, and that isn't a green screen. You might want to stick around, because the answer to who is going to win the Premier League this season might have been under our noses the entire time. Arsenal arrived at the Etihad with a very familiar lineup, some would say a full-strength squad, apart from holding in that back four, which many flagged as a weakness for City to exploit. And as for the home team, suddenly we got a surprise appearance of Kyle Walker in that back four, which surprised most of us before kickoff, but in fact it was that decision that unlocked Arsenal and gave us our first goal. Early pressure from Odegaard. City look to play it out from the back, but Stones has to go long, looking for Haaland's head. Can he get it down? Brilliant touch from Haaland. Gives it to De Bruyne, and Arsenal might be in trouble here. De Bruyne bursting through the centre with the shot, and it's into the bottom corner. And we're 5 minutes into this game, and City have gone 1-0 up. My word. And Arsenal were too soft on several occasions in the build-up, and Kevin De Bruyne had an opportunity. Wow. See, City used a 4-2-4 structure when building out from the back, and it was Kyle Walker that took up that traditional right-back role. This pulled the press of Arsenal really high up, and once the ball was shifted to one side, City could play the ball long into Haaland or De Bruyne, who had now found space in behind Partey and Xhaka. And it was actually Haaland who often came deep to receive that ball, and we'll talk about his performance very soon. Haaland dropped deep, received the ball, and dragged Holding completely out of position, clipped the ball into De Bruyne, suddenly isolating the centre-back and the full-back. Now, possibly the most underrated part of this entire build-up was the positioning of Jack Grealish. While the ball was all the way on the opposite flank, Jack Grealish stood high and wide on the left, so when the ball was put into De Bruyne, he could hold his position and create a real problem for Ben White, because he couldn't go and engage to De Bruyne, who was carrying the ball forward, because at any moment, that pass was on. This inefficiency for Arsenal to press City effectively just created more and more pressure, and with that, I guess you create your own luck. Bernardo Silva stands over it, but De Bruyne puts the ball in, and it's a free header, and that's John Stones, but it is offside. The offside flag denies John Stones of putting City 2-0 up. It was a free header at the back post. Oh, he is off. He's way off, surely, right? Oh, it does look a little tighter than first thought. It's on. Oh my word, that goal is game-changing, and now Arsenal have a mountain to climb in the second half. Pep Guardiola's Man City have ran through Arsenal in the opening 45 minutes, and it's a leaping header from John Stones that might have just buried Arsenal's title hopes. Oh, Haaland uses his strength, shrugs off Gabriel, and he's down the middle once again, and that's a massive save from Ramsdale. 1 versus 1 against Haaland. You would have bet your money on Haaland finishing. Haaland now gives it to De Bruyne. He needs to finish. Oh, and that's an excellent finish through the legs of Holding. And De Bruyne with 2 goals this evening, and that is far too easy. You cannot play like that versus Manchester City. And now it's time to talk about Haaland. And for once, we're not talking about his goal scoring. He put in a real centre-forwards performance at the weekend with excellent touches, brilliant decoy runs, taking Holding out of the game at times. He's becoming so scary under Pep Guardiola. And it's performances like that win you Ballon d'Ors. Of course, we know that he can finish. He's made that abundantly clear, and he probably had an off day in that department versus Arsenal, but he isn't becoming the focal point of this City side. He's becoming a cog in the machine that is Manchester City, and that is bad news for the entire Premier League. Suddenly, that partnership of KDB and Haaland was working, but almost in opposite ways. Haaland was the one providing for Kevin De Bruyne, and they made a very competent Arsenal back line look like kids. That is the ultimate human victory cigar, innit? I'm just going to let the locks flow. You know, the Arsenal fans, they've travelled a long way. They probably wanted to see it anyway. Let them see the hair. Let the other fans clap it. You know, just soak it in. Oh, Haaland! Oh, now he scored. There he is with the hair down. And Haaland. Right. But I'm saying this now. Sorry, this isn't professional at all. I'm saying this now. I drafted this way before the game. I don't know why I didn't tweet it. Right? Go on to my drafts. First draft up there. What does that say? Get it on there. Get it on there. Get it on there. Can you see that? 4-1. City will cruise 4-1. Thank you very much. That's my prediction. I didn't even tweet it. Why don't I tweet it? As for Arsenal, the only way I can describe it is they just didn't look up to it. Trying to match City's 4-2-4 with their own 4-4-2 just didn't work. Holding going man for man on Haaland just didn't work and played exactly into the opposition's hands. And as for the attacking side of the game, they had very few chances and not many ideas. Saka was completely isolated on that right flank and really struggled to get in behind Akanji, who, by the way, is looking like a world-class signing. The thing is, City have huge amounts of experiences in big games, and they played this one to their exact tempo, and that demoralised an Arsenal side that already looked overwhelmed by the task at hand. If you contrast the moment when Zinchenko herded his team together when they were 2-0 down versus Southampton to the body language and the lack of patience when they faced the exact same scoreline at Manchester, it perhaps showed that even Arsenal didn't believe that they could have won this game. Arsenal have been outstanding for this entire season, amassing 50 points in the first leg of the campaign, an extraordinary desire to win, amazing comebacks, relentless goal-scoring attitude, and it's all come from the genius mind of Mikel Arteta. But the problem is, none of this would have happened without Pep Guardiola. Arteta isn't the coach he is today without Pep Guardiola. Arsenal don't play the way they do today without Pep Guardiola. This weekend and potentially this season might have crowned Pep Guardiola as one of the greatest coaches we have ever seen. His contribution to modern football is so vast, even us fans don't truly comprehend it. His ability to drill into players a philosophy so vivid that those players go on to create teams that perform like Arsenal have this season is incredible. But Arsenal have given up so much power in this title race, a title that looked so possible just a few months ago. They've dropped points when they only have themselves to blame and have given City a fighting chance. And when your competition is the man that taught you it all, that task becomes impossible. Forget the money, forget the players, forget all of that, right? Arsenal are 2, 3, maybe even 4 generations behind this Man City side. Tactically, game management, season management. Arteta was under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola in that first evolution of Man City, and he took that knowledge and he created a great Arsenal side. But the problem is, in that time, Pep Guardiola has been improving, has been evolving, and has created dominance in the Premier League, the likes we have never seen before. Put it this way, the Man City of today wipes the floor with the Man City of 3 years ago, and I think that is what we're seeing play out in front of our eyes. But it does raise an important question. Can Arteta evolve this Arsenal side? Can he adjust? Can he improve? Can he implement an evolution away from Pep Guardiola? While he does that, your elected Premier League champions to be Manchester City.